The stats for the new Pokemon coming in the Teal Mask might have just leaked, and we're going to break down how good these Pokemon might be. Now, before jumping into this, this is a potential spoiler, just so you know, you have been warned. Also, these leaks are not 100% confirmed, but I did get this list from Neil VGC, and he's pretty sure all but one thing in this is 100% legit, but I will cover that when it pops up. Also, just before jumping into this, I do want to quickly jump onto Victory Road and Cerebi here. For one main thing, right? We just want to look at this here where it says Pokemon found in the DLC 1, the Teal Mask will be eligible. And Cerebi also goes on to say here that this will include basically Pokemon from the Teal Mask. So we are assuming all of these Pokemon coming in will be 100% legal. Now, I think it's really cool because again, a lot of people have been saying like, hey, Reg E is just going to be, you know, Reg D, you know, 2 or something like that, which I personally think is ridiculous because, again, a lot of new moves are coming and also new Pokemon are coming. So, yeah, just keep that in mind when we're looking at this. Everyone's saying that, you know, Reg E is going to be trash. Just remember, we're getting, like, a few new Pokemon that are all potentially really insane. Just remember what happened in DLC 1 with Sword and Shield, where we got things like Urshifu and whatnot, right? We could be introducing some of the best Pokemon in the format. But anyway, we'll go through this one step at a time. Actually, I'll quickly just scroll through. This is basically the information here. Again, might not be 100% legit, but Neil has told me he's pretty confident that this is. So we'll start things off here with the Bloodmoon Ursaluna form. Now, this is something that a lot of people have been saying, right? People have been saying it's going to be ground steel. People are, you know, saying it's going to be like ground fighting, normal steel, normal fighting, all that kind of stuff. I personally have been of the belief the whole time it was going to be normal steel based off its description. And we do see here that normal steel is supposedly what it's going to be. Now, if we look at its abilities here, we see it's got Mind's Eye, which is its new signature ability. It has Bulletproof, but then its hidden ability is Intimidate. Now, this is really interesting for a couple reasons, because this mon on the physical end is absurd, right? It is so freaking bulky, right? And then you add Intimidate to that, or like again, and like all of a sudden this mon just becomes almost impossible to deal with, right? At least on the physical end. Obviously, its special sight is one of its biggest weaknesses, but a really cool thing as well that this mon has, right, is because it doesn't have Guts as its primary ability, it is a bit more flexible with its item, right? Like Ursaluna feels like every game it kind of just wants Flame Orb, right? Because if you're hitting, you know, with 300 plus attack with like a Stab Earthquake, it's pretty insane, right? Let's be honest, it's pretty insane, but it's very one-dimensional, right? People do tend to obviously go for things like SD, because like SD plus Guts is kind of crazy, yeah? But I will quickly pull up a damage calculator I've got here. So I have changed the stats as well. We'll quickly touch on that. So according to this leak, Ursaluna did lose 25 stats from its, points from its special attack stat, and that was basically given 5 points to every other stat. So on the left here, you can see I have punched in the Bloodmoon Ursaluna, and on the right we have just a normal Ursaluna set. So one thing to me that is really, really crazy, right, is this mod with 0 bulk plus Intimidate active literally eats a Flame Orb boosted EQ for breakfast. And Headlong Rush, while it does kill, it's like kind of barely, yeah? Like at -1, Headlong Rush is like, again, it's killing, yeah? But like if you go like 252 here, all of a sudden, like, it's only a 43% chance to KO, which is freaking absurd, right? Ursaluna is a monster. Don't forget, this thing, when it's burnt, has like way over, like over 300 attack. It's like 300 and what, 15, 16? And dude, Headlong Rush is only a 43% chance to KO, which is nutty. But I also do think like a really cool thing about this, especially this typing, right, is against Fluttermane, right? So if we go Fluttermane here, right? We pull up, let's just go specs, right? This is a modest choice spec set. This is just invested in HP, right? The most damage you can deal is 38%, right? But let's just say, okay, the meta adapts. People are running I was going to say the grass set. Let's just say people are running like a water set, right? Actually, Terra Water's not going to work. What do we want? Let's just say ground, right? Let's just say ground. Once upon a time, I ran into a Terra ground set, and it messed me up, yeah? If this thing's like Terra ground, right? It's modest, it's spexed. Okay, that's apparently one-shotting, right? But again, this one's attack stat's so nice. What happens if I just like, sorry, it's HP stats, and what if I slap an AV on it? All of a sudden, like, this is not KOing, and this like neutral, non-invested, by the way, this is no attack, is one-shotting with Ice Punch apparently, which is kind of nutty. But again, if you just go like 252, all of a sudden it's like Headlong Rush is like always one-shotting, which is pretty obvious, right? You expect it to one-shot. But I think this one here with like AV, potentially even like Clear Amulet could be really good. Berry as well could also be really nice on it. Like this typing is kind of insane, right? Like if we go over to here to the Maryland Team Builder, right? We don't necessarily have like it's also a unique typing. I should probably add that. Let's just say let's just throw two mons together here. Right? We'll just go these two, right? So a pure steel type and a pure normal type, yeah. if you look at this mon's weaknesses, right? So it'd be weak to fire, that's fine. 4x to fighting does suck, but then it's weak to ground, that's it. So it has 3 weaknesses, one of which is a 4x, but then it also has 2 immunities, and then a shit ton of resistances from the steel typing, yeah? So I do think something like Terra Ghost on this one will be absolutely insane, right? Because again, you're already weak, immune to Ghost, so like chances are people aren't going to click like Shadow Ball into you, but then that also gives you an immunity to the fighting types. And then it's also just decent into the other 2. You could also see things like Terra Fairy as well on it. Maybe if you just want a better way to hit things like, what's it called? Urshifu. Potentially like even like Terra Grass as well. Terra Grass helps out with the ground weakness. Obviously not great into the fire weakness, but you see what I mean, yeah? It all comes down to how the meta adapts. But yeah, I do think this mon here in particular will be insanely good. Obviously being a bit faster as well is actually cool because what you can do, right, is, I'm sure, you know, some of you probably saw I ran the 252, what's it called? Why does that feel so low? That should be fast. Oh, it's because this. I was gonna say. I ran Jolly Max Speed Ursaluna on one of my fish teams, and this one just fits like even better on it, right? Because I think Jolly Max Luna hits 112, right? Which is actually still really cool because it a Jolly Max Luna does, I believe, if you get an Icy Wind off, it outspeeds the base 100s. So all of a sudden, this would allow you to start outspeeding, you know, like base 101s and stuff like that, right? Like, obviously, yeah, 175. I think that, what does, not Meowscarada. The genies hit like 180, I think. But yeah, regardless, that extra 5 points will mean a lot, especially like even in Tailwind teams as well, right? Like hitting that, like that speed stat there is like going to be really, really cool, especially for stuff we'll talk about later. But yeah, I do think this Ursaluna is going to be sick. It also has a new signature move as well, which I'm assuming is a normal type move, hence why it works with the signature ability. Basically, I'm assuming it's going to be normal type Gigaton Hammer. And yeah, like obviously a lot of people say, oh, it doesn't have, you know, Guts Boosted Facade, but if you give this mon like a Facade that is, what, 160 base power, like, dude, like that's a lot of damage against a mon that's this bulky. Because that's, again, a lot of natural bulk right on Ursaluna, so really, really cool set there. And I definitely think, you know, Ursaluna will... I don't want to say it'll be the best one here, because I don't think it will be, but I definitely think it'll find a place in the meta. Alright, for the next couple of mons here, there isn't really that much to talk about in terms of these mons, because I don't think they're going to be as competitively viable as, you know, some of the other mons on this list. Dipplin is going to be kind of cool. Its bulk's decent. I just don't think it's going to be anything too crazy. You know, 80 and what? 70, yeah, I think it'll be average. We need to wait until DLC 2 for its evolution. The Poltergeist line is cool, but I don't know how good I think this mon's gonna be, right? Because like its signature moves like kind of cool. The fact that it's like gonna be able to burn plus regen health, because it has the burn on it, it does make me think it's probably gonna be a ghost type stab move. So maybe that plus hospitality does something. But it's like, its bulk on the physical defensive side is so low, I just don't see this mon doing anything. And its speed stats also really lackluster, so it would probably have to rely on like Shell Smash, but I just don't see it being very good. But now we start getting into the really, really interesting ones. So I'll put the first 3 up here. So we've got Okidogi, Munkidori, and Fezandipiti. Now, Okidogi is the first mon we'll take a look at here. Now, this mon does share a typing with Sneasler, which is great for us, you know, chucking into the old team builder here so we can check out its weaknesses, but its stats are absurd. So basically these mons are supposedly going to be 60 base stats across, 600 base stats, right? But again, similar to Ursaluna, these mons, for the most part at least, have been really min-maxed, at least in my opinion. I think they've been min-maxed perfectly, right? Okidogi is really interesting because apparently its hidden ability is going to be Guts, which is really, really cool. And then on top of that as well, it has a really good HP stat, really solid defenses, very, very good attack stat, and a really solid speed stat. 99 speed, make sure it always outspeeds Urshifu, which is really, really cool. But it also just has great ability, great bolt, and yeah, like, even a pretty good typing. Like, if we go here, right, we just add in our guy Sneasler. We take a look at this defensive typing, yeah, it's only weak to 3 things, right? Now, I do think as well, with all these mons being poison type, it is like Landorus stocks going up, which is, I guess, kind of cool. Later, you know, might be able to do a bit more. But yeah, like you look at this thing, yeah, sure, it's weak to, you know, Psychic, Ground and Flying, but again, Terra can help you get around these things. And again, its stats are just absurd, dude. Like, if you like, which one is this? This one here, I think. Yeah, like if you look at these stats, dude, like this one hits 200, like, dude, look at this. If you're like, let's just go raw 200, yeah. Plus burn, you've got a 300 attack stat, and it's just like, dude, this one's just gonna start taking names, man. Like, how does bulky Fluttermane eat this? Yeah, let's go bulky Fluttermane. Dude, Poison Jab's one-shotting. Like, this is bulky Fluttermane, neutral hit. It's just one-shotting it, yeah. That's like standard bulk Fluttermane. Like, Fluttermane will have to change its spreads if this thing's available. Because, like, again, look how little damage this thing's doing. I shouldn't say little. Moonblast is still doing a lot. Like, but we are, like, what? This is, I guess, yeah, modest 116. So that's still really, really solid. It's also meant to be photosynthesis. Is that active? Yeah, dude, it's eating photosynthesis boosted as well. Why is that not doing more for me? I feel like that should do more damage, unless it's... Oh, no, of course, because the items... Yeah, okay, it's already active. That's why. Yeah, that's fine. What happens if I just, like, change that from booster energy? Yeah, okay. That's great. And another cool thing as well about this mon is I think it's going to be, like, a really good Assault Vest user. Like, obviously, you know, you can still have Guts on this mon because it's, like, it makes them not want to burn you and it gives you, like, a burn immunity. But, like, dude, with AV, look at this shit, dude. Like, freaking look at this shit. Like, it's booster, like, special booster Fluttermane isn't even doing 50%, and that's, like, non-invested HP. All of a sudden, you invest HP, it's doing, like, 40%. Yeah, dude, I think this mon's gonna be great, especially if it has a good move pool. Like, I know a lot of people, when it was, like, first, like, shown, were like, oh, man, it's gonna be, like, similar to, Incineroar, right? Like, imagine this thing gets Parting Shot. And, like, also, we don't even know if they're going to get, like, signature moves. But say this thing gets, like, not Parting Shot, sorry, Fake Out. Imagine it gets, like, Fake Out. You know, you've got, like, these two here. And then, like, just, I don't know, maybe a signature move, maybe a coverage move. But, dude, like, AV could be, like, insane on this mon, dude. Like, it's so freaking bulky that, like, AV just, oh, man. Dude, Okidogi, I'm excited for this thing, dude. Like, what else can I calc for here? I mean, can you eat an Ursaluna? Probably not, right? I don't think you're eating an Earthquake from this. Yeah, not even close. Maybe if it's like -1, if you get the Intimidate off, can you eat Earthquake? Yeah, pretty easy, actually. Also, the Facade, too. I mean, dude, this one's pretty bulky. Yeah, I'm really excited for this guy. I do think he's going to have a lot of potential. Obviously, it always just comes down to the moveset with these guys, though. Now, Munkidori. So this is the one I was talking about at the start, where I said, hey, we're not sure about this guy. And that is because its hidden ability is apparently Shadow Tag. Now, if this mon's hidden ability is Shadow Tag, I think there is a chance it becomes the best mon in the format. For a couple reasons. One, if we look at those stats there, 111 speed is really good. 119 special attack is also really freaking good. And then 87 defenses with 125 HP is freaking absurd, right? Now again, this mon's typing, I believe, what we're talking, I think it's Galarian Slowking, right? Has the same typing? Galarian Slowking? Yeah, you're Psychic Poison, yeah? Yeah, dude. Like, again, you look at these mons here, right? They have, they're all weak to ground, right? That's kind of what I touched on at the start. They're all weak to ground types, which is fine. But, I mean, Ghost and Dark are pretty easy to cover for. And you already resist Fairy. So, like, you could go for something like Terra Dark on this potentially. I don't necessarily think that's going to be the play either. I just want to say that. Like, I do think this mon will probably want to look at something like Terra Fairy. Because I do think this, like, this guy with, like, choice specs on these stats. Did I make one? No, is it this one? Yeah, it's this one here. Yeah, if you, like, look at these stats here, yeah. Right, if you're like Timid Max Speed, Terra Fairy with like a Choice Scarf, like there is like nothing Urshifu can do to you, right? Like this is the Dark Shifu, yeah? I'm Terra Fairy, I'm always one-shotting, we all know that, yeah? But if I'm like not Terra Fairy, he's gonna carry me with Wicked Blow. But then like the issue is, then there's like all these mind games, right? It's like you can't swap out. You know, maybe they're forced to start running defensive Terras as well. By the way, this is like Adamant as well. That was another thing. This is like no bulk invested Adamant. So he's like Adamant Black Glasses. Like we could also like just like spec this thing to like eat a Sucker Punch from this, like forcing it to Wicked Blow, yeah? It's like we could go something like this. So it's like, okay, you're like now forced to Wicked Blow me, right? You're forced to Wicked Blow me. Like we don't need this much special attack. We also probably don't even need this much speed if we're being a Scarfer. But yeah, like I think this mon's got a lot of potential, a lot of really cool things it can do. Again, it's also so bulky that like you could even just afford to like drop this down to like maybe 170. You know, drop this to whatever like spread you need. Yeah, we'll just say there, for example. And it's like, dude, look at this Sludge Bomb still on this guy. It's still doing 60%. So like, if you've got a partner next to this thing that also outspeeds the Urshifu, we just can't play the game. So yeah, I do think Munkidori, based on its like defensive typing being really good, Terra obviously being like a broken mechanic, and potentially having Shadow Tag, Munkidori, dude, could be the best mon in the format. I've been saying the whole time, I think, doesn't matter the format, Fluttermane will always be the best Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet just because of how impressive it is. And, like, you know, it's just statted so well, yeah? This mon might actually have the ability to take it out. If you pair this with things like Fake Out, Tailwind, whatever it is, you know, the meta, like, starts adapting to. Again, like, if Okidogi gets, like, Fake Out, yeah? You leave these two mons together, they're insanely bulky, both very fast, and they can just start taking KOs. And like, I didn't even touch on it, dude. This natural bulk is actually nutty too. Like, let's just say, we'll go with this set we've got here. What does like a Flutter Mane do, yeah? Because Flutter Mane hits this for special effective, super effective damage. Yeah, dude, like, modest booster Flutter Mane is like, technically struggling to KO this, yeah? Like, I'm sure you could spec this mon to like, beat it. Even if I go like Terra Fairy, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you're struggling to like KO me there. And then I'm sure you could always spec something on this as well to hit it for like super effective. Like, what if I just put like Shadow Ball on this? I don't know if it's obviously going to get Shadow Ball, but I mean, yeah, dude, like, if you've got like speed control in your team, or even if you are Scarf and he's not, like, you're going to two-shot him before he two-shots you, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I think, obviously too, you can't trap Flutter Mane, but yeah, I do think Munkidori is going to be really freaking cool, dude. This typing with these stats paired up with the ability could be freaking broken. And then the final mon of this, you know, trio here is Fezandipiti. Now, Fezandipiti, in my opinion, kind of got the short end of the stick. At least, you know, if this is all true. So, it is the least bulky by far. The other two are quite bulky. This one, not very bulky. You know, 93-73 split for the defensive stats. Pretty average. 107 speed is not bad by any means, but again, it's like, it doesn't have the bulk of Okidogi to justify not having as high a speed stat, but also like 111 is just better than 107, right? There are a lot of mons that are really good that hit that 110 speed like mark. So I think, like, again, it kind of misses out on that. And then also, like, it's just like, it has all this special attack, which is really good. It hits really hard, but its second best stat is its attack stat. And, you know, we kind of touched on the other two, how they're min-max perfectly. Yeah, like, you have a look at Okidogi, its worst stats, its special attack stat, great. It's probably not clicking special moves. Looking at Munkidori, its worst stat is its attack stat, 71. It doesn't want to click physical moves, yeah? But you look at Fezandipiti, what's it want to do? It wants to outspeed you, it wants to hit you with special attacks. And it's just like, dude, if the defensive, even if you take like 30 off the attack and then you go 103, 83, 83 on the defenses, all of a sudden the mon becomes a lot different, I think. Look, maybe they thought this mon would be like too good. I don't know, because obviously the fairy typing is just a great typing. But yeah, like if we pull it up here, what would that be? I think Wheezing, right? Wheezing's got the same typing. Galarian Wheezing, of course, that is. I mean, you look at this mon, yeah, again, ground weakness, psychic weakness, steel weakness. You can get around this, yeah? There are ways around this. Terra Steel doesn't look too bad on this mon. Obviously, the ground weakness is still there, but it does help out with a couple other things. What else could you do on this? Terra Dark probably wouldn't be it, hey. You could also just go Terra Fairy. That's probably like another option, right? You just go Terra Fairy to say, hey, I'm just going to hit you as hard as I can. So I guess defensive-wise, it's not bad. But I definitely do think that this mon's biggest issue here... Also, I changed the Flutter Mane just to match it. Like, it puts out a lot of damage, right? Like, let's be honest, yeah. If I'm like Timid 252, it pumps out damage. What's a mon that we can calc this on? What's a good example? I mean, I was going to say Urshifu, but I think you're always just KOing Urshifu, right? Yeah, like Moonblast is sending it to the Shadow Realm. Oh, I should have probably thought about this before. What's a good mon I can calc on? How about we just go like Landorus, right? Because like this mon does like pump out damage. What if we're just going up against like AV Lando? Like, how do we go against AV Lando? Also, we're probably the wrong Lando. Oh my god. Landorus. I should have done this before. Yeah, let's go Terra Water AV. Yep. Yeah, this does look like a pretty common spread from Worlds. I mean, it's one-shotting you, right? Feels kind of bad, man. And yeah, dude, this Moonblast is doing nothing. What if I'm just like... What if I'm Life Orb? Yeah, I don't know, dude. I feel like this mon's just going to be the worst out of all of them, hey. What if I'm like Terra Fairy? Very, very, very. I mean, if I go Terra Fairy, I live in EQ, yeah. Yeah, I mean... Sorry, Stomping Tantrum. I do live the Stomping Tantrum, but I feel like I'm just not doing enough in return. Yeah, look, I don't know about Fezandipiti. I'm not going to lie. Look, it's my least favorite out of all of them as of right now, and I don't think these stats are going to change anything. I do think, man, if this was just like, you know, like 30 lower and these were like 10 higher, all of a sudden it's maybe a bit different, but the bulk to speed stat ratio is just not how I like it, really. So I guess finishing up with the loyal 3 there, I definitely think these two are going to be really good. I do think Fezandipiti has got the short end of the stick, but now we're talking about what could break the metagame. Now, Ogerpon is really, really interesting. I'll scroll down here so you guys can basically read them all at the same time. This is why, like, I always think people jump the gun when they're like, hey, Regulation E is just going to be bad, right? First of all, there's a bunch of new moves coming into the game. I think it's been data mined. There's about 30 moves. That's new moves plus returning moves, right? So potentially Scold coming back. Obviously, Ogerpon gets, like, Iron Cudgel. We also have Ursaluna getting, what was it, like, the Bloodmoon move. I forget it off the top of my head. But then you get something like this. Ogerpon, for those who don't know, its ability is that it gets a +1 boost to a stat depending on the mask it wears, right? So Ogerpon Teal mask gets a speed boost, Wellspring mask gets a special defense boost, the Fire mask gets an attack boost, and the Rock mask gets a defense boost. Now, I did speculate in one of my other videos that, hey, you know, we might be able to do these masks outside of battle, which again, it still isn't confirmed that, like, hey, I can just go, you know, go to some shrine and say, hey, I'm going to turn my Ogerpon into Wellspring mask, and all of a sudden, bang, I've got a Wellspring mask Ogerpon. But it does kind of look like that is going to be the case. Now, this mon here has ridiculous stats. Like, it is literally cover legendary worthy, if not potentially better. If this mon can hold an item, I do think it is going to be better than a bunch of cover legends. And it could straight up be the best mon in the format. I think Floodamane stocks do continue to rise here, because obviously these all look like they're going to be part ghost types. And Floodamane obviously does like to cop against ghost type Pokemon, as it hits pretty freaking hard against them. But these ones are absurd, dude. I did the math. Their base stats are 665, so 665 base stat total. But then they also get a boost to one of their stats, and also potentially the ability to hold an item, which is, let's be honest, it's freaking nutty. But first of all, we're gonna look at the the grass type here, the Teal mask variant, which again, you see this 115 HP, 105s across the board up to the speed stat, which is 130 now. Is it this one? Yes, it is. So we've copied the Bramblegast here. Actually, I'll pull it up here as well, just so we can see. I'm quickly refresh this. We want to just get rid of some of the old ones here. Yeah, so we'll get Bramblegast up here. Yeah, our guy Bramblegast. Defensively, not the best. Yeah, it's got 2 immunities. Obviously, we don't get Windrider on this. But yeah, 2 immunities, you know, what, 4 weaknesses, 4 resist. It's decent, you know, it's okay. Like, grass types are always going to have weaknesses. You know, thankfully, you know, you look at things like the Ghost and Dark, that is potentially manageable. Flying Ice and Fire as well, like, you can work something out there defensively. You know, something like this could be really good with, like, Terra Water. Obviously, you know, fixing up the Ice and the Fire weaknesses, and then also just making it neutral to these 3 while also just being a pretty good defensive typing. Not to mention, you do already resist the 2 main weaknesses as well, being Ice and Grass. So, pretty good defensive typing here. And you look at these stats, right? So, again, this mon will be getting +1 to its special speed stat, I believe, every time it switches in. I kind of hope it's like the nerf to Zacian, where it's like, hey, the first time you switch in, you get it. You don't get it any other time. Because if you're able to, like, pivot this thing in and out constantly, it's going to be broken. But as you see here, a 0 speed, right? 0 speed, non-invested, hits 225. That is nutty, because that outspeeds the entire format. That is faster than non-booster bundle with Timid max speed. Obviously faster than Dragapult as well, hits, 214. The only thing that really doesn't outspeed is Regieleki, but I don't think this thing cares. It will just eat Regieleki for breakfast. Because also, like, if you want, like, you can just spec speed into this to outspeed Regieleki, right? Like, what's Eleki? Oh, did I lie? Wait, what is Eleki? Eleki's 277, right? Should have done this before, boys. I'm sorry. Timid. Does it actually? I feel like this has got to outspeed Regieleki, right? Yeah, 277. Okay. So you'd have to go Timid to outspeed Eleki, but that's fine, right? You don't care that much about that. What is that? That's the wrong one. Is this one? Sorry, boys. Very scuffed setup here. But yeah, I think this mon, with its potential speed stat, is going to be crazy, right? Like, at that point, I don't think you can worry about outspeeding Eleki. It's not worth it. You already outspeed the rest of the format, so who cares? But, like, dude, look at, like, the bulk from this thing. Like, this is a Timid... So this is just a Timid Sash set, yeah? You have a chance to live it non-invested. And again, the crazy thing about this mon is it is so bulky that it, like, can just afford to just say, like, hey... So it's so fast, you can afford to go into bulk, right? You can go, like, 252, you know, like, split defenses. And then, again, I don't know what the signature move is, if it's physical or special. I think it's going to be physical, because it should work the same for all of them. And the fire type is a physical attacker. The rest are all just 105s. So I would lean towards this thing being a physical attacker. But let's just say, I don't know, this thing... I've got Shadow Sneak there as well. I'm just going to go Adamant just for the sake of this calc. So we'll just go 244. Also, I'd have to do that. 244. Bang. Yep, that's fine. Let's just, for the sake of... Let's just throw Phantom Force on this, yeah? Obviously, we don't know if it's going to get a better Ghost type move. But, like, Fluttermane just dies to this. Potential Shadow Sneak as well. Like, again, if this thing gets an item, right? If you can just go... What am I in? Am I in abilities? Let's just go Life Orb, yeah. If this thing can hold an item, it has a chance to just, like, one-shot non-bulky Fluttermane. Obviously, Fluttermane will, you know, start calcing for that, right? But let's just say it's, what is it? It's, I think it's 68, 116, right? Is the... I mean, that lives a Shadow Sneak, but, like, that's a Shadow Sneak, yeah? What if I'm just, like, Terra Ghost? What if I decide, like, hey, I just want to make sure Fluttermane... Yeah. Fluttermane doesn't play the game. It also gets a grass move as well. Let's just go Leaf Blade for the sake of this calc. We'll drop it to 80 just because we don't know the power of this thing. But yeah, like that is, that's scary, dude. Like the fact that you've got this like no drawback move, because again, this could also be like base 100 for all we know. It has a high chance to crit as well. Dude, if it's 100 base power, Leaf Blade's like always one-shotting, which is crazy. Again, I don't think it'll be that high. If I had to guess, it'll be maybe 80 or 90 base power. But still, this one will have a pretty spammable stab move. And its stats are just nutty, man. Like, like even if you, like, again, like, non-bulk, let's just say, like, what is a Fluttermane? Let's just go specs here. So this is modest 252 specs. Dude. But I'm Terra Ghost, and I'm still potentially, like, not dying to a modest 252 spec Shadow Ball. That's crazy. Let's just say, what if I, let's just say I Terra into just a fire type's really not the best one. What would I Terra on this thing? Let's just say water, yeah. I said water before, we'll go water. If I'm Terra Water, dude, Shadow Ball, like, probably will two-shot me, but there's a chance it doesn't, and that's modest 252, man. Like, actually insane. This mod has, like, broken stats. I don't necessarily think this will be the best one, but it is still really cool to see. Like, if this mod comes into the format with these stats, dude, it's gonna be fucking broken. Like, let's be honest, it's broken. But then we have the Ogerpon Water type. This one is crazy as well for a couple of reasons. It does share a type with Basque Legion. Also shares a type with Jellicent as well. Again, pretty good defensive typing. I think this mod's one biggest weakness is obviously going to be Qian Pao. Sucker Punches are a thing, so maybe we can look at some calcs on that as well. This one here, obviously, you know, is weak to Qian Pao. Probably going to want to, like, always Terra out of its Ghost typing. But again, Water typing's so good that, like, it could potentially also just Terra Water. Yeah, sure, you keep the Grass and Electric weaknesses, but it's, again, a great defensive typing. It'll allow you to hit a lot harder and just make them on, like, really, really tough to deal with. But I do have this here. Obviously, you know, we've chucked the stats into it. We've got the +1 special defense stat there because look at this, right? Specs Fluttermane, right, has a chance to KO this non-invested. All of a sudden, if I go 252, I'm never dying to a Spac Shadow Ball from this thing, and that's all I've invested. That's crazy. Like, I know I keep going back to Fluttermane because, like, obviously, you know, Fluttermane is super effective against this mon. But, like, we really got to talk about that. Like, dude, this mon should not be doing this little damage with modest 252 choice specs. Like, that is the strongest Shadow Ball in the format, and it's eating it for... I don't want to say it's eating it for breakfast, yeah? But, like, what if I just wanted this thing to be just an absolute... Dude. If I just wanted a special wall, right here's my guy. Like, this is my guy, yeah? Like, you just go like this, yeah, just like that. And then, I don't know, maybe just like, what, 244? Oh, 244. God damn it. Yeah, something like that, dude. And then, like, maybe I'm just, like, firing off my own Shadow Balls. Shadow Ball. And then I'm just, like, Terra Water, because, like, fuck Chi-Yu, yeah? Like, dude, yeah, what if this thing's, like, next to a Chi-Yu? Dude. Obviously, this is going to have a lot more bulk than this. But, like, your Chi-Yu... Wait, actually. Yeah, your Chi-Yu could, like, get you killed. Like, if you're running, like, Flutterfish, like, you could straight up just get yourself killed with this. And then you're also just, like, eating... Like, what is, like... So, let's just say, what's that do? Shadow Ball does, like, 80%. What if I'm Terra Water here? Let's just say I'm Terra Water, yeah? So, that does, like, 40. And then what if I get a Chi... Let's just say Life Orb Chi-Yu, yeah? Dude, Dark Pulse is doing 23% to this with Timid 252. Like, Life Orb. That's crazy. Obviously, I don't think, like, AV is going to be, like, some crazy set. If anything, I do think this mod would probably lean towards, like, Rocky Helmet. Just to be, like, really good into the Urshis. Because, like, again, like, you're already so bulky on the special end that I could see just physical investment. Actually, speaking of the Urshis, what does Urshi Rapid do to this set here? Dude, that does a whole 31%. Wow. Yeah, like, this one non-invested just eats it. Like, this here, like, again, you can just run, like, Rocky Helmet, and then all of a sudden you're just, like, killing this thing. You're just not caring, right? And obviously, like, you can't even CC this thing either because of the ghost typing. It's like, dude, look at that Urshifu, dude. That's jolly as well. What if I go, like, Adamant? Adamant. Yeah, okay, what if we give him, like, Rain and we give him Terra? Dude, that's Adamant Terra Water doing, like, 66%. Obviously, it's a resist, but still. I feel like that should do more. Wow, okay. Yeah, I think this one's going to be really good. The special defense boost could be insane too, obviously going forward into the format with more special mons, especially mons like this coming into the format. But as I said, this mon could be a physical attacker based on its signature move, but if this one gets skulled, then it's like you just don't run Ivy Cudgel. But yeah, that one kind of crazy, not gonna lie. Ooh, and then here we have the fire one. So this one's also really cool. So it does share a type with Cerulege. There's actually a few fire ghosts now, actually, isn't there? Because there's like obviously what Chandelure who's coming back. Cerulege. Defensive typing pretty decent. Obviously this mon's like, I was gonna say it's great with Grass Terra actually, but it's not because Cerulege has Flash Fire, which is what makes Grass on it so good. But Terra Water on this mon is pretty damn good as well. If you look at like what it's weak to, Terra Water could be like freaking sick. But did I pull up one of these? I did, right? This one here. Yeah, Cerulege. Okay. So this guy here, he gets the attack boost, right? So he gets +1 to his attack when he comes in. If this guy gets Shadow Sneak, the regular bulk Fluttermane can't live it ever. What if I'm like if I'm like 252, 116, there's a chance. No Fluttermane's ever running that bulky, I don't think. Like, let's be honest. What if I'm like 116, 116? What was it? I think some people ran like this, right? Like, how bulky would you have to go to? Dude, like that's... Dude, this one's like... this one's actually crazy. Again, obviously, it comes down to the moveset with these guys as well. Because we don't know what kind of... we don't know what kind of moveset it's going to get, right? Like, me putting Shadow Sneak there is kind of like, you know, who freaking knows. Also, Flare Blitz, by the way, I nerfed it. I did this just for Ivy Cudgel. Because, again, we don't know, like, if this guy... that was no item. Like, if he can, like, hold a Life Orb or something, dude... God, I keep doing that. If he can hold a Life Orb on this set, dude, that would actually... Yeah, dude, look at that damage. That's 8. Like, this move would be so spammable. I could also see, like, a world where, like, Scope Land's Focus Sash... what's it called? Focus Energy could be good. Obviously, for those who don't know, its signature move is a high chance to crit. So, like, Focus Energy plus that could also, you know, buff it up. But yeah, like, having this attack stat with +1's kind of crazy. I probably, like, would assume this mod could potentially be a Scarfer. Because, like, getting +1/+1 on, like, 665 base stats is, like, kind of crazy. But again, dude, its natural bulk is so high that, like, this Fluttermane is, like, yeah, it's KOing with, like, modest booster here. Yeah, it's getting the special attack stat, but there's, like, how much would I have to invest to live that Shadow Ball always? It's actually not that bad, because you could also, like, min-max that as well, right? Yeah, like, you could do something like that, and all of a sudden you, like, live it, and then you could, like, go, what, 252? How many does that leave me for the attack stat? I mean, you could run, like, that, yeah, and then just go, like, Adamant Choice Scarf. I mean, yeah, something like that seems good to me. I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't seem too bad. Like, Adamant Choice Scarf hitting 157 as well is actually also huge, because, like, a lot of mons do kind of hit around that, like, that 154, like, area. That's where, like, the Arcanines of the world hit. And it would also probably force Urshis as well to start running Jolly, which is also really cool. Like, if your Urshifus can't just go, if they can't go, what's it called? I literally just said it. If they can't go Adamant, if, like, they're going, like, Scarf Jolly as well, they lose a bit of power there. Which is really, really nice. Also, what if I'm like Terra Water on this? How much does Terra Water actually do for it? Let's just get Urshifu up here. We would have 4 points in this as well, wouldn't we? I guess. What do I do with the other points? I guess it would just go here, right? Yeah, just say that. Surging Strikes, but what if I go Terra Water? Yeah, dude, like, look at that, man. You would need 4 attacks from this. Like, sorry, three Surging Strikes. That is Jolly, but again, I think this one will probably start having to run Jolly, because if it's Adamant, right, it's like, what? Yeah, 149 is not going to be enough in the format, I think, with these Ogerpons running around. So yeah, that one, really, really cool. Has a lot of, like, tricks as well, and it's, like, a really good fire type as well, right? Like, Ghost Fire is, like, such a good offensive typing that, yeah, I think this one could be insane. And, like, getting +1 on a 130 attack is, like, crazy. Alrighty, and then last but not least, we have the Rock typing. Now, unfortunately, I do think this is our first ever Ghost Rock, so we don't actually have, like, one mon that we can just, like, pull up and look at it. But we could go like what? Yeah, we'll just go like Rock Ruff and then Mistreat this. You don't have the Fairy typing, do you? Yeah, like you look at this mon. This is definitely the worst defensively of the bunch. Obviously it gets rid of the fighting weakness there, but it's got like what 6 weaknesses, which is kind of sad. But this is a mon that could run like Terra Steel pretty well, I think. Obviously having the immunity there. Dude, I say that, but keeping the ground weakness is pretty rough actually. What else could it, like, do? You want to get rid of the ground weakness. Like, Terra Grass could actually be pretty good on this thing. I actually don't mind Grass. Like, even Water as well is, like, half decent. You would keep the Grass weakness, but I don't know how, like, good grass is going to be going forward. Yeah, I think like Terra Water could be decent on this thing. But I do have this here because I have basically an idea right with this mon. So again, it gets the like absurd defense stat. It gets the +1 to the defensive stat. And because it's a rock type as well, it can get sand buff. So like, for example, again, like we're looking at Fluttermane here. Yeah, we're non-terrored. We're just 252 HP for in the defense. Specs Modest is doing 80% to this thing, which is kind of crazy. And then like similar vein to like how T-Tar was like running the past as well. You could just like slap AV on this thing. And then again, all of a sudden, not invested, like Specs 252 Fluttermane is like not a guaranteed 2-shot. And like, as a matter of fact, if you wanted, because this one's going to be bulky, I feel like this is probably too much investment. I mean, 68 is not bad. You just guaranteed always live 2 Specs Moonblast from a Fluttermane. Kind of crazy. That's like, yeah, I think that's really good. And again, its stats are just so nice. It could potentially have a rock move that's spammable. Like, that's the other thing as well, guys. This could have a spammable rock move, which would be like the first time ever, right? A guaranteed rock move that's never going to miss, potentially somewhere between like 80 to 100 base power. Really nutty. But yeah, I think this guy on sand could be really cool as well. I think another thing as well that I didn't really touch on with the other sets is obviously movesets are going to be really, really important, yeah? A big question is like, are they going to get supportive moves as well? Obviously, they're cover legends, so I expect them to get the works, yeah? Because like this mod, like I don't really know what like maybe like Sand Tomb or something could be really good on it. But I doubt I think the thing is, right, I doubt they get coverage for their specific typings, right? So like what I mean by that is if we jump here, like I don't think Wellspring Master is going to get like Skull, the Hydro Pump, yeah? It is probably going to get whatever this guy here can learn. And then it's just going to be like, you get Ivy Cudgel, right? So it's like, hey, you just get like Ghost moves or whatever. But you also get access to Ivy Cudgel, which gives you a water stab. Same with, you know, like Ogerpon here. So Ogerpon, obviously, they're all Ogerpon's got the fire mask and whatnot. So it really is curious, right? Like ghost types get access to things like Pain Split. They get access to things like Will-O-Wisps, potentially Curse. Because like that's another thing, right? Like this guy with like the fire one with like Terra Curse could be really cool. But yeah, obviously, look, we don't know what these guys are gonna do in terms of movesets. Like even this guy here, imagine he gets like Subseed. Imagine you're just like running this guy like 0 speed, all bulk, just subseeding things, right? It does seem kind of scary. Also, like again, going back to like this guy having Shadow Tag, all 4 of these being ghost types is also really good. Because like I would expect to see Ogerpon in almost every team, same with Fluttermane, right? So that is like the one reason why I think Munkidori could get Shadow Tag, because like again, like from what Neil said to me, he's like, hey, I don't think it'll get Shadow Tag. Shadow Tag is considered like a busted ability. Obviously they took it off things like Chandelure, right? So having it on a mon like Goth is like decent because it's like Goth isn't the best mon by itself. So it's like, yeah, like it's a good trapper, but I think Munkidori would just become like the best trapper we've ever had. So yeah, like maybe it's too good to actually be true, but at the same time, adding like 4 really good ghost types to the format is kind of like, well, is it going to be that good if it can't trap in any of these and they can all beat at 1v1 potentially? But yeah, guys, that's it for the leaks, I guess. I don't really have anything else to say. Obviously, again, take this with a grain of salt. We don't know how true any of this is going to be. But for me, it's fun to just speculate, right? I love breaking all this kind of stuff down. And yeah, I'm super excited. I'm hoping in the next couple days, like, we get, like, Kurt or, like, you know, even, like, Centro just come out and say, like, hey, here's the stats. Confirm this is legit. And then your boy's like, yes, let's go. I also obviously really want to know what moves are coming back. And yeah, if we're going to get, like, any buffs. What mons are getting what moves, because at the end of the day, that's what's really important, right? Like, I can sit here and tell you Munkidori is going to be broken because of Shadow Tag, but if this mon's like best like stab move is like a 60 base power ghost move, then it's like, it's probably actually not that good. Same with like Okidogi, right? If Okidogi doesn't get Okidogi, if he doesn't get things like Fake Out and whatnot, you know, I think he can still be good because he's statted really well, yeah. But obviously, you know, we don't know how good these things are going to be. Like, this guy could just be the new Insin, right? Like, better stats than Insin. Potentially not a better typing, but again, like, there's so much you can do with stats that are that nice that, yeah. Anyway, guys, I've rambled on and off. Let me know down below what you think of these leaks, and if you think they're real, if you don't think they're real, but yeah. Anyway, catch you in the next one. Peace.